near the Danish capital, Copenhagen. British bands Oasis and the Pet Shop Boys have now pulled out of their performances scheduled for tonight.
The site today betrays few signs of last night's terrible events. At just before midnight, as the American band Pearl Jam were performing, the huge crowd at the Roskilde open-air summer festival surged forward, crushing people against the stage. Witnesses say the band repeatedly appealed to the crowd to move back, but some fans had already collapsed, and others began tumbling over them in the wet and muddy conditions. This man says there was an atmosphere of violence, and the pressure was so great it was impossible to help anyone. Those at the front had nowhere to go and were crushed by the sheer weight of fans. 8 people were killed, 26 were injured, some seriously. The size of the audience had caused concern ahead of the festival. Many fans said it was obvious there was going to be a problem. In a statement posted on their record company's website today, Pearl Jam described the deaths as a horrible nightmare. The band said there were no words to describe its members' anguish for the friends and relatives of those whose lives were lost. Mark Smith, Sky News.
Both Unionists and Nationalists on Northern Ireland's power-sharing executive have appealed for calm in Portugal.
Though the festival will continue through Sunday, hundreds of festival goers are leaving early. CNN's Chris Burns reports from Roskilde in Denmark.
At Europe's version of Woodstock, on a farm outside Copenhagen, a music festival turned deadly. As the U.S. band Pearl Jam played on the largest of 7 stages at Roskilde, thousands of fans pushed toward the stage. Up in front, fans slipped on the muddy, rain-soaked ground and were crushed or trampled. The band urged the crowd to move back. Loudspeakers repeated the call, but for some, it was too late. Ambulances rushed the injured to nearby hospitals, while officials tried to identify the dead. Pearl Jam broke off their performance, and the next band, The Cure, canceled. It was one of Europe's worst concert tragedies, and it raised questions about security and crowd control at Europe's largest annual music performance, selling 100,000 tickets at the 4-day event and featuring 170 artists. 2 decades after 11 people were trampled to death at a performance by The Who in Cincinnati, concerts can still be deadly events. An estimated 70 people died last year at concerts, more than 50 of them at one in Minsk, Belarus. Most of them were teenage girls crushed in a stampede into a subway station from a hailstorm. If Cincinnati banned festival seating, mega events like the one here in Roskilde will have to think of other ways to ensure security and to save lives. Chris Burns, CNN, Roskilde, Denmark.
At a ceremony in Copenhagen, the Danish Prime Minister asked for a moment of silence to remember those 8 people who died at the rock concert. Afterwards, then, Danes and Swedes inaugurated a $2.75 billion bridge that links the 2 countries. The 16-kilometer-long bridge is the first direct tie Sweden has had to mainland Europe in 7,000 years. The bridge links the Swedish city of Malmö with the Danish capital, Copenhagen. Well, French prosecutors are calling for what amounts to a 1-month jail sentence for farmer-turned-activist Josie Bove.
Burns, CNN, Roskilde, Denmark.
Pearl Jam has canceled the Sunday appearance at a concert in Belgium. Following the tragedy in Denmark, the group issued a statement that reads, in part, "This is so painful. I think we are waiting for someone to wake us and say it was just a horrible nightmare. There are absolutely no words to express our anguish in regard to the parents and the loved ones of these precious lives that were lost." For more on that tragedy in Denmark, go to our interactive website. CNN has information and updates on what happened at the concert, as well as reaction from people who were there. That's at CNN.com. French prosecutors have called for what amounts to a 1
on a Yiddish theater